The woman standing there was in her late 50s, simply dressed, with kind eyes and a calm face. "I am Grace Eze," she said warmly. "Obina's mother. You can call me Mama Grace." Chica greeted her softly. Mama Grace smiled. "My son is still out working. He could not come on time, so I came for you myself." She noticed the suitcase at once. "Ah, this thing is heavy." Chica tried to smile. "A little." Mama Grace quickly arranged for a local bike to carry them and the suitcase the rest of the way. The ride was rough. Chica saw the simple life around her clearly now. Small farms, baskets of produce, goats, chickens, plain compounds, open land. Everything looked far from the life Kemi had fought for. By the time they reached the house, Chica already felt out of place. The house was small and simple. Nothing about it looked impressive. Mama Grace noticed her expression and said gently, "It is not fancy, but it is home." Chica quickly shook her head. "I understand, Ma." Inside, the house was neat and clean. Mama Grace turned to look at her again. "You are too thin," she said. "Did you eat before coming?" Chica shook her head. Ah, Mama Grace said with concern. "Sit down first. I will make something for you. You do not need to stress yourself." "How can I not? My son's wife cannot enter my house hungry." Those words were simple, but they touched Chica. She sat down. As Mama Grace moved around, she spoke honestly. "Village life is not easy. If later you truly feel you cannot cope, you can say it." Chica looked up. There was no harshness in the woman's voice, no pressure, just honesty. That honesty almost broke her. Quietly, she said, "I do not have anywhere to go back to." Mama Grace stopped, then came to sit beside her. "My daughter," she said gently, "from today, this is your home." Chica looked at her and felt something shift inside her. It was not happiness. Not yet. But for the first time since leaving her father's house, she felt a little warmth. And for that moment, it was enough. Chica was still sitting in the small sitting room when she heard footsteps outside. Then a man's voice came from the doorway. "Mom?" Mama Grace turned at once. "Obina, you're back." Chica looked up and froze. The man who stepped inside was not what she had prepared herself for. He was tall and well-built, with calm eyes and a clean, handsome face. His shirt sleeves were folded slightly, and even though he had clearly come from work, there was nothing rough or careless about him. He looked strong, neat, and self-controlled, not flashy, not loud, just quietly striking. For a second, Chica forgot to breathe. This was Obina? This was the village farmer? Obina's eyes moved to her and his expression softened immediately. "So this is Chica," he said. Mama Grace smiled. "Yes, she arrived not long ago." Obina stepped closer. His voice was low and respectful. "I'm sorry I wasn't there to receive you. Work held me back longer than I expected." Chica quickly stood up. "It's okay." He gave a small nod. "Still, I should have been there." There was no pride in his voice, no excuse, just simple apology. Then he reached into a small bag he had come in with. "I got something for you," he said. Chica blinked. A gift? She quickly prepared herself. In her mind, she expected something small and village-like. Maybe fabric, maybe sandals, maybe something she would have to pretend to like so she would not offend him. She accepted the box carefully. "Thank you," she said. "Open it," Mama Grace said warmly. Chica opened it slowly. The moment she saw what was inside, her fingers paused. It was a gold bracelet. Not ordinary gold. Real gold. Heavy, bright, expensive-looking. Her eyes lifted to Obina's face, then dropped back to the bracelet. This could not be cheap. Obina noticed her silence and misunderstood it at once. "You don't like it?" he asked. "I thought the design was simple enough, but if it's not your taste, that's fine. I brought other options too." "Other options?" Chica repeated. He nodded as if it was normal. Mama Grace laughed softly and stood up. "I told him not to confuse the girl on her first day, but he would not listen." She went to a drawer, opened it, and brought out a smaller case. Try this one too, she said. Chica collected it with even more confusion now. When she opened it, she almost dropped it. Inside was a pink diamond piece. Her breath caught. She did not know much about jewelry, but she knew enough to know this was no ordinary stone. Even the way it caught the light looked expensive. She raised her head slowly. Mama Grace was smiling. If you don't like gold, maybe you'll like that. Chica stared at both of them. Then she looked around the simple room again. Old chairs, plain walls, a quiet house in a village, then gold, then pink diamond. Nothing matched. She tried to smile, but her confusion was too clear. I don't understand. Mama Grace and Obina looked at each other. Then Obina sat down and motioned gently for her to sit too. Chica sat. Mama Grace sat beside her. Obina spoke first. You expected poor people. Chica felt embarrassed at once. No, I didn't mean... It's all right, he said calmly. Most people do. The way he said it made it easier for her to breathe. Mama Grace smiled. This house confuses many people. Chica looked from mother to son again. I thought you were farmers. We are, Obina said. That only confused her more. Before she could stop herself, she asked, Then how can you afford these? Mama Grace answered as if she was explaining something very small. My son farms a lot of land. Chica gave a small nod. How much land? Mama Grace waved her hand lightly. Not 1 or 2 plots, many, across several communities. Obina added, Farming is only one part. Chica looked at him. One part? He nodded. There's livestock too. Fish farming, some tourism projects, a few other investments. He said it so casually that Chica almost wanted to laugh. Instead, she asked carefully, So, how much do you make from farming? She expected something modest, something good by village standards. Mama Grace answered before Obina could. Billions every year from crops alone. Chica turned sharply to look at her. Billions? Mama Grace nodded as if she had said thousands. Chica looked at Obina to see if his mother was exaggerating. But he did not deny it. He only said, It depends on the year. That answer made it even worse. Chica let out a breath and sat back slowly. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Obina reached into his pocket and brought out a bank card. Take this, he said. Chica frowned. For what? For anything you need, clothes, toiletries, whatever you want. You don't need to ask. He placed the card in front of her. Chica stared at it. The whole day already felt unreal. This only added to it. I haven't even bought anything yet, she said. You will, Mama Grace replied. You're in a new place. There must be things you need. Chica hesitated, then took the card. Still, she looked uneasy. Obina noticed. What is it? I just don't want to spend carelessly. A faint smile touched his face. Then check the balance first. Chica thought he was joking, but both he and his mother looked serious. So she brought out her phone, checked the account linked to the card, and nearly stopped breathing again. The amount there was so high that for a second she thought she had counted wrong. She checked again. No, it was real. She looked up slowly. This is too much. Obina shrugged lightly. That account is small. Chica blinked. Small. I'll transfer more later if you need it. She stared at him. Mama Grace shook her head fondly. Why later? Since she is your wife now, she should manage your money. Chica turned to her quickly. No, Ma, that's not necessary. It is necessary, Mama Grace said. That is how it should be. Obina nodded without even thinking about it. She's right. Then he added in the calmest voice, I'll give you my other cards too when I find them. Some are inside the house. I misplaced a few somewhere. Chica just looked at him. Misplaced a few somewhere. As if he had too many to keep count of. As if billions were normal. She held the card in one hand and suddenly felt very small in the middle of a situation she did not understand. At last, she asked the question that had been sitting in her chest. If you have this kind of money, why do you live here? The question was direct, but neither of them seemed offended. Obina leaned back slightly. My father built this house himself, he said. Every part of it meant something to